everyone! Welcome back to my blog. My name is Maris Lorin Bibanluta and I am a student from ABM 11 YA-7. I'm coming back to blogging after a long break and today our subject is statistics and probability. And I'm very excited to share with you my topic, which is all about correlation. I'm hoping that after this blog series, you will be having a better understanding about correlation. So sit back, relax, and let's get started!
What is correlation? Correlation is an important concept in mathematics and statistics that deals with the relationship between two variables. It helps us understand how two variables are related and how changes in one variable affect the other. And lastly, correlation lies between positive 1 to negative 1. Next, what are the three types of correlation? The three types of correlation are positive correlation, negative correlation, and no correlation. Positive correlation is the points lie close to a straight line, while negative correlation is the points lie close to a straight line which has a negative gradient. And lastly is the no correlation. It means there is no pattern to the points. And for the coefficient of correlation, it is a measure that describes how closely the points in the scatter diagrams are spread around the line.
And here's the formula where our x is the independent variable and our y is the dependent variable and our n is the sample size. And also, here's the interpretation of correlation. For the example number 1, a researcher wants to determine the relationship between the students' time spent studying for a test and the final exam score of 6 students. So, here's our example number 1 where our x is the time spent studying while our y is the final exam score. So, kung makikita nyo, nakaayos na dito yung values ng ating x and y. So, to get the product of x, y, ipagta-times lang natin yung value ng x at y. So, 1 times 79 is equal to 79. 2 times 82 is equal to 164. 3 times 93 is equal to 279. Then, ganun din yung gagawin natin sa iba pa. 4 times 89 is equal to 356. 5 times 96 is equal to 480. And last is 6 times 94 is equal to 564. So, yan. Tapos na natin kuhain yung value ng xy. So, dito naman tayo sa x squared. Ang gagawin natin sa x squared is a squared lang natin itong values ng nasa x natin. So, y squared is equal to 1. 2 squared is equal to 4. 3 squared is equal to 9. Then, 4 squared is equal to 16. 5 squared is equal to 25. Then, 6 squared is equal to 36. Then, after that, dito naman tayo sa ating y squared. Gagawin naman natin is, squared naman natin itong values ng ating y. So, 79 squared is equal to 6,241. 82 squared is equal to 6,724. Then, 93 squared is equal to 8,649. Then, 89 squared is equal to 7,921. Then, 96 squared is equal to 9,216. Then, 94 squared is equal to 8,836. Yan, tapos na natin kuhain yung value ng ating x, y, xy, x squared, and y squared. Ang next natin gagawin is kukuhain natin ang sum lahat ng each column. So, unahin na natin yung sa x. Ang gagawin natin is ipag-add lang natin silang lahat. So, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 21. Then, next natin is yung y. Ganun ulit yung gagawin natin. Ipag-add din natin sila para makuha natin yung sum ng y natin. So, 79 plus 82 plus 93 plus 89 plus 96 plus 94 is equal to 533. Next is the xy. 79 plus 164 plus 279 plus 356 plus 480 and plus 564. The total is 1,922. Next is the x squared. 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16 plus 25 plus 36 is equal to 91. Last is our y squared. 6,241 plus 6,724 plus 8,649 plus 7,921 plus 9,216 and plus 8,836, and our total is 47,587. So, the sum of our x is 21 and for our y is 533 and for the xy is 1922 and x squared is 91 and lastly is the y squared which is 47,587. So, ito ulit yung formula natin. Sinulat ko lang siya ulit para mapakita sa inyo and para hindi kayo malito. So, our next step is isa-substitute lang natin yung mga nakuha nating sum dito, which is yung mga ito sa formula natin. So, R or coefficient correlation is equal to our n is 6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the sample size. Substitute lang natin. Then, the value of our xy is 1,922 minus the sum of our x is 21 and the sum of our y is 533. Ayan. So, sa baba naman tayo. Square root yung value ng n natin which is 6 or yung sample size natin. Then, the sum of our x squared is 91 minus the sum of our x is 21, then squared. Square it ulit. Value ng n natin, which is 6. Then, the sum of our y squared is 47,587. Minus the value of our y or the sum of our y is 533, then squared. So, after nyan, kukuhain muna natin yung value nitong dalawa. Ito munang nasa taas yung unahin natin before tayo mag-proceed dito sa baba. So, 6 times 1,922 is equal to 11,532. Then, sunod naman natin itong nasa right side. 21 times 533. Our total is 11,193. Yan. Nakuha na natin yung value nitong dalawang nasa taas. Proceed naman tayo dito sa baba. Unahin ulit natin itong nasa left side. So, kuhain na natin yung value nitong nasa left side. Square root 6 times 91 minus 21 squared. Our total is 10.24 or 10.25. Then, sunod naman natin yung nasa right side. Square it ulit. Then, square root 6 times 47,587 minus 533 squared. We got the total 37.85. So, ayan. Nakuha na natin yung mga value nitong nasa taas at nasa baba. Para makuha ulit natin yung total or value nitong nasa taas at nasa baba, unahin muna natin ulit itong nasa taas. Simply minus lang natin itong nasa taas, which is 11,532 minus 11,193. Then, our total is 339. Then, yung sa baba naman, ang gagawin lang natin is ipag-multiply lang natin silang dalawa. 10.25 times 37.85. So, nakuha natin is 387.96. Para makuha naman natin yung final answer, simply divide lang nitong dalawa, itong nasa taas at nasa baba. So, 39 divided by 387.96, and the total is, or our final answer is 0.87. So, here's our final answer. So, kung titignan natin sa degree of correlation or sa interpretation of correlation, ang yung nakuha nating final answer is high positive correlation. Therefore, the time spent studying and final exam score have a high positive correlation. Let's proceed to the example number 2. For the example number 2, determine the correlation between the amount of hours spent playing video games and the amount of hours spent doing homework of 6 students. For our second example, our x is the hours spent playing video games while our y is the hours spent doing homework. As you can see, nakaayos na ulit yung values ng x and y natin, so pwede na tayo mag-proceed to our next step, which is the xy or the product of our x and y. Same process lang din tulad ng sa example number 1 natin. So, multiply lang ulit natin yung value ng x natin sa value ng y. So, 10 times 5 is equal to 50. Then, the rest, ganun lang din ulit yung gagawin natin. So, ayan. Nakuha ko na lahat ng product ng ating x and y. Proceed naman tayo sa x squared. Same process ulit. Squared lang natin lahat ng value natin sa x. So, 10 squared is equal to 100. Then, the rest, squared lang natin yung mga natirang iba. So, ayan. Ito na ngayon ang values ng ating x squared. Last naman is yung y squared. Same process lang siya tulad ng sa x squared, pero this time, ang x squared naman natin ay yung values ng y natin. So, 5 squared is equal to 25. Then the rest, squared lang natin ulit yung mga natira. Ayan, ito naman ngayon ang values ng ating y squared. After that, kukuhain naman natin ang sum each column. Let's start sa x. Add lang natin sila lahat to get the sum, but yung values lang muna ng x natin. And the rest, same process lang. Simply add lang to get the sum. So, 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 9 plus 12 and plus 5. And that will be 50. Then the rest, same process lang ulit. So, ayan. Nakuha ko na lahat ang sum each column. Therefore, the sum of our x is 50. And for our y is 21. And for our xy is 199. And for our x squared is 450. And lastly is the y squared with the sum of 91. Let's proceed naman sa computation. Hindi ko na isusulat yung formula para mas mabilis. Let's substitute all the sum na nakuha natin kanina sa formula na ating gagamitin. So, r is equal to n or sample size, which is 6. Then, the sum of our xy, which is 199. Minus the sum of our x, which is 50. Then, multiply the sum of our y, which is 21. Overall, square root of 6 or the value of our n multiply the sum of x squared, which is 450, minus the sum of our x, which is 50, then squared. Next, square root ulit. Then, the value of our n, which is 6. Multiply the sum of our y squared, which is 91, minus the sum of our y, which is 21, then squared. After that, let's compute first yung nasa taas and on the left side, which is 6 times 199 is equal to 1,194. Then next is on the right side, which is 50 times 21 is equal to 1,050. Proceed naman tayo sa baba, pero yung nasa left side muna, square root of 6 times 450 minus 50, then squared is equal to 14.14. Next is same process lang din. Square root of 6 times 91 minus 21 then squared is equal to 10.25. Next step is let's subtract this one. 1,194 minus 1,050 is equal to 144. Then, yung nasa baba naman, which is 14.14 times 10.5 is equal to 144.94. To get the final answer, let's just simply divide 144 and 144.94 and the answer will be 0.99. As you can see on the interpretation of correlation that 0.99 is very high positive correlation. Therefore, the hour spent playing video games and the hours spent doing homework have a high very positive correlation. And for the last example, a researcher wants to know if there is a correlation between air temperature and ice cream sales in gallons. For our last example, Rx is the air temperature while Ry is the ice cream sales. So, kung titignan nyo ulit, inayos ko na ulit yung values ng x and y natin. So, let's proceed naman sa xy or the product of our x and y. Same process lang, so wag nyo pahirapan yung sarili nyo. So, first, let's multiply the value of our x and the value of our y. Hindi ko na ipapakita kung paano i-compute dahil siguro naman marunong naman kayo mag-multiply. So, ayan, nakompute ko na yung product ng x and y natin. So, proceed naman tayo sa x squared. Squared lang natin itong values lahat ng x natin. Ayan, tapos ko na din makuha yung values ng ating x squared. Last naman is the y squared. Squared naman natin is itong values ng ating y. And now, we have the values of our y squared. After that, kukuhain lang natin yung sum ng each column. Start tayo sa x. Ipag-add lang natin sila to get the sum. And here's the sum of each column. The sum of our x is 465, while our y is 195, and our xy is 15,550, and our x squared is 36,475, and last is our y squared is 6,775. Proceed naman tayo sa computation. Hindi ko na ulit papakita yung formula dahil napakita ko naman na sa inyo nung sa unang example. So, ang gagawin lang natin is isa-substitute lang natin ang lahat ng sum na nakuha natin, which is ito, sa formula na gagamitin natin. So, yan, na-substitute ko na lahat ng sum na nakuha natin sa formula na ginamit natin. Next is, isolve na natin. So, 6 times 15,550 is equal to 93,300. Then, 465 times 195 is equal to 90,675. Then, sa baba naman yung isolve natin. Square root of 6 times 36,475 minus 465, then squared. And the answer is 51.23. Next naman is yung nasa right side, which is square root of 6 times 6,775 minus 195, then squared. And the answer is 51.23. Then after that, 93,300 minus 90,675 is equal to 2,625. Then, let's multiply yung nasa baba, which is 51.23 times 51.23 is equal to 2,624.51. To get the final answer, you simply divide 2,625 divided by 2,624.51, and the final answer is 1. Or 1.00. As you can see on the interpretation of correlation that 1.00 or 1 is very high positive correlation. Therefore, the air temperature and ice cream sales have a very high positive correlation.
I have activity na pasasagutan sa inyo para malaman ko kung naintindihan nyo ba yung lesson natin ngayon. And for our activity number 1, determine the relationship between the number of hours spent exercising and the amount of weight loss in pounds. Next is our activity number 2, where the two researchers are interested in determining if there is a correlation between the number of sleep hours a person gets each night and their productivity at work. And for the last activity, an analyst wants to determine the correlation between the age and the time spent in social media.
For our activity number 1, our X is the hours spent exercising and our Y is the amount of weight lost. Proceed na agad tayo sa XY since nakaayos naman na yung values ng X and Y natin. So, to get the product of our X and Y, i-multiply lang natin yung value ng X natin sa Y. And ayan, nakuha ko na yung value ng XY natin or yung product ng X and Y natin. Next naman is yung X squared. Squared lang natin palagi itong X values natin. Ayan, nakuha ko na rin yung value ng X squared natin. Last naman is the Y squared. Same process lang siya tulad ng sa X squared, so hindi na tayo mahihirapan. So, this time, ang squared naman natin is ang values ng Y natin. Ayan. Since nakuha ko na yung value ng Y squared natin, and kompleto na siya lahat, pwede na natin makuha yung sum ng each column. Para makuha natin yung sum ng each column, ipag-a-add lang natin sila lahat. Simulan na natin dito sa X. Ipag-a-add lang natin yung values ng X para makuha natin yung sum niya. And now, here's the sum of each column na nakuha natin. Therefore, the sum of our x is 57, and for our y is 37, and for our xy is 335, and for our x squared is 607, and lastly is for our y squared is 190. So next, proceed naman tayo sa computation. Substitute lang natin itong mga sum sa formula na gagamitin natin. Since na-substitute na natin lahat ng sum na nakuha natin kanina sa formula na gagamitin natin, pwede na natin siya isolve or i-compute. Let's start first sa taas para hindi tayo malito. And after natin makompute yung nasa itaas, proceed naman tayo agad sa baba. So, 6 times 335 is equal to 2010. Then, 57 times 30 is equal to 1,710. Then, proceed agad tayo sa baba. Square root of 6 times 607 minus 57, then squared, is equal to 19.82. Then, sa kabila naman, which is ito, square root of 6 times 190 minus 30, then squared, and the answer is 15.49. Then, after that, let's simply subtract 2010 minus 1710, and the answer is 300. Next is, let's multiply 19.82 times 15.49, and the answer is 307.01. To get the final answer, i-divide lang natin yung 300 sa 307.01. So, 300 divided by 307.01, and that will be 0.98. And that will be the final answer. Kung titignan ulit natin sa interpretation of correlation, ang 0.98 is very high positive correlation. Therefore, the hours spent exercising and the amount of weight loss have a very high positive correlation. For the activity number 2, our x is the sleep hours and our y is the productivity at work. Let's proceed to our xy. To get the value of our xy, just simply multiply the value of our x and the value of our y. Now, we have the value of our xy. Next is the x squared. To get the value of our x squared, just simply square the value of our x. And we have the value of our x squared. Last is the y squared. Same process sa x squared, pero this time yung i-squared naman natin is the value of our y. Ngayong nakuha na natin ang values ng y squared, pwede na natin kuhain ang sum ng each column. Let's start sa x. To get the sum, ipag-a-add lang natin ang mga values nito. So, ayan, nakuha na natin ang sum ng each column. Therefore, the sum of our x is 29, and the sum of our y is 20, and the sum of our xy is 115, and for our x squared is 167, and lastly, for our y squared is 80. Let's proceed to the computation. We simply substitute itong mga sum na nakuha natin sa formula na gagamitin natin. Ngayong nakapag-substitute na tayo, pwede na natin siyang isolve. Let's start to the top, which is 6 times 115 is equal to 690. And 29 times 20 is equal to 580. And sa baba naman, square root of 6 times 167 minus 29 then squared. And the answer is 12.69. Then next, the square root of 6 times 80 minus 20 then squared, and the answer is 8.94. And after that, we simply subtract 690 minus 580, and the answer is 110. The next, 12.69 times 8.94, and that will be 113.45. Para makuha natin yung final answer, ipagdi-divide lang natin yung 110 at 113.45. So, our final answer is 0.97. If we check on the interpretation of correlation that 0.97 is very high positive correlation. Therefore, the sleep hours and productivity at work have a very high positive correlation. For the last activity, Rx is the age and Ry is the time spent in social media. We have now the value of our x and y, so let's proceed to the xy. Xy, which means x times y. So, to get the product or to get the value of our xy, we're going to multiply the value of our x and the value of our y. And here's the value of our xy or the product of our x and y. Let's proceed to the x squared. We're going to square the value of our x. To get the value of our x squared, ang ginawa ko lang is, in-squared ko lang yung value nitong x, which is 16 squared is equal to 256. Same process lang sa y squared, so hindi na kayo mahihirapan. Pero, ang i-squared lang natin is itong value ng y. So, ayan, nasagutan na natin lahat. Pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa pagkuha or pag-compute ng summation ng each column. Starting sa x, ang gagawin lang natin is ipag-add lang natin itong lahat para makuha natin ang summation ng x. And ganun din sa iba. And here's the summation or sum of each column. The summation of our x is 109, and for our y is 55, and for our xy is 975, and for our x squared is 2063, while our y squared is 531. So, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa computation. First, all we have to do is to substitute itong mga summation or sum na to na nakuha natin kanina sa formula natin. So, ayan, na-substitute na natin. Malapit na natin makuha ang final answer. Para makuha natin ang final answer, isolve muna natin ito. Unahin na natin ang 6 times 975, and the answer is 5,850. And next is 109 times 55. And the answer is 5,995. So, next, proceed naman tayo dito sa baba. So, square root of 6 times 2,063 minus 109 then squared is equal to 22.29. And to the other side, square root of 6 times 531 minus 55, then squared. And the answer is 12.69. After that, we are going to subtract 5,850 minus 5,995, and that will be negative 145. Then, 22.29 times 12.69, and that will be 282.86. To get our final answer, we simply divide negative 145 to 282.86, and our final answer is negative 0.51. And ayan, nakuha na natin ang final answer. And kung titignan natin sa interpretation of correlation, ang negative 0.51 is moderate negative correlation. Therefore, the age and the time spent in social media have a moderate negative correlation. Before I end this video, I want to leave a quotation from anonymous person says that life is a math equation. In order to gain the most, you have to know how to convert negatives into positives. Well, that wraps up our tutorial on correlation. I've discussed what correlation is, examples of correlations, and the different types of correlation. I hope you feel more confident about understanding and interpreting correlation after this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again to my next vlog. Bye!